Hello everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on how to draw a rosebud, traditional rosebud in 5 different ways. So I'm gonna get started with number one, and we're gonna go from easier, simpler shapes to the more complex ones. So one of the easy ways to do this is just draw a circle, come on with a loose S-shape line, and then for the first petal that envelops the rose, you can just go with a rhomboid stuff shape like this, and the other side around like this, connect it to the petal like this, and maybe just if you want, you can add like a triangle shape in the circle. And this would be the first sketch, the number one method of doing it. I guess you can ink it how you like it, but maybe we'll be talking about inking later on. Okay, so let's just make this one smaller and move it away from here. Okay. Okay, so another way of doing it would be with the same start with a circle. That's a bit too small. So start with a circle, but make it like not really a circle, but more like an ovoid, and like this. And then again, go with a S shape, but this time it's a bit rounder, not so stretched out. Go with this, and then you can go with the first row of petals will start like something like this with a curved line, and then start adding semicircles around it. Okay, and when it when you connect it to the stem, let's say, you just go with another S-shaped line like this, and you can just play around here with the circles and everything. For example, I'm not really happy with the way this line goes, and I'm gonna make this loop a little bit bigger than the other, and just go with the line like this. Just mimic the stem, and then for the other petals, you can just go like this. Try to mimic the shape if you want or not, and just go with the semicircles and connect them somewhere here. Just remember that the second tier of petals here will not go around the entire bud. It will just stop somewhere in the middle or whatever, and you can just go with the other petal coming on the other side like this, and this is your rosebud. Okay, making this smaller again. And okay, this is number one, this is number two. Let's go on with another. This is for another shape. It's mostly using very strictly old school designs. These ones, the two, one and two, you can use for neo-traditional as well, but this one works quite a lot better for only for traditional. So first, you just do the petals like this, the petal shape, and it in traditional design it just looks like they loved using these semicircles, curvy lines. You go on with this one like this one like this, So you see the second one just isn't complete like this one with the entire S shape here, because you need to suggest that this one right here, is coming from underneath the first one. And as for the bud, you can just go with circles like this and stop where it meets the petal line. So this is another way to do it. It's, as I said, this one is mostly for traditional work. Okay, let's just move it. Depending on what type of design you're going for, you can if you want something simple, you can use this one. All of them are rather simple, but this is by far the most simple design. Another one which is quite commonly used in new school design, new traditional, would be like something like this. Start out with the petals, and you can go as crazy as you like with the petals. Shape is entirely up to you in in new school design. So go to something like this. These are the outer petals, and for the stem you can just make a egg shape here. You can just leave it at this. Usually I like to add another line here just to confirm like a curvature toward the inside, like something like a curvature like this. And then you can either double it and go with another one like this, which I'm not going to do. It depends how complex you want to go, how many lines you want to draw, because sometimes it's nice to have a lot of lines because it just draws the eye toward the design and just makes it more complex and more nice to look at. And you can just add some lines like this here. Again, double the line. It's curving like you just curving like this on the inside. Add another line here. Again, a double line curving like this. And you can just pile on it. You can add another one here. And again, this one curves like this. So seeing how this is a new traditional design, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated and more close to realism in comparison to other types of design. Okay, and for the last one, where's my pencil? Right, this is for last one is a bit more complicated, and it's usually used for traditional work, but works for you can adapt it to any type of design, traditional or non or neo traditional. Sorry. So you just start with by creating a spiral. So this is your spiral. It's not very realistic, but it's still used in neo traditional design. And the thing is, you just need to connect the lines here to the bottom part like this. And this, what you're doing is a swirl, like a petal would just swirl around forever. You can do as many swirls as you like. The thing is, I found out it depends on the size of the designs first of all, and like 3 lines works the best. It's simple enough to see, and it doesn't clutter, so you just mess up the entire design using this doing too many lines in one small place. As for petals, you can go well whichever way you want it. I personally, for this one, I like to go with something like this, just like S shape and another S shape like this. And I'm suggesting that this one here comes from underneath, and be sure to connect this here just to so you have a heart shape with a rosebud in it. It's pretty cute and it works. Okay, so for the inking, I'm gonna take this document and create a new one in Adobe Illustrator because that's how I like to ink. And okay, I'm just gonna paste it here on one layer. Then I usually take the layer and dim it and lock it just to make it lighter. As for inking, I'm really into inking traditional, so I'm using a 15-point brush with size variation based on pressure, and it's going from 1 point to 30 points, so we can get some really nice lines. Okay, so let's ink, right? This is not a standard procedure, so there is no standard procedure. You can ink it any way you like it. Sorry, let's create a new layer so I can actually draw on it. Okay, let's check the brush again. We're okay with that. There's some strokes. Okay. Okay, so let's get the inking. As I said, I'm inking traditionally, so I prefer it like this. So I'm just going to go over this. Fucked up. Okay, now let's try it again. And again, this works for both digital illustration and traditional illustration. I'm just working digitally, so there are some things I need to do and whatnot, but this is basically what you can do with arrows and how you can draw arrows. I'm not being very careful, but another thing here with this type of row is the shape of the connecting lines. You can go either like this with uh, with them going to the curving through the inside, or you can have them curving to the outside like this, which, well, it depends on what you like and what you're going for. So for example, if I would be going for a rounder rose, a more chubby rose like that, I would go with this. If I'm going for longer rose, I'm going the vertical stuff, I would go with the lines on the inside. So it's definitely up to you. This shape of rosebud, sorry, works best for rounder roses. So when you're gonna construct the entire rose and sketch around it, you should really keep in mind that what shape of rose you're going for. So if I would be going for a longer, more elongated rose, I would use this one, number 1, or number 4, because with number 4 you can go any type of shape. If I were to go for a more like a more round rose, a chubbier rose, I would go with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. They're multi-purpose. And talking of 3, this would look when designing traditional stuff. You always have 2 ways to go about it. So you can either go with some 2D flat stuff and go with some 3D-ness. So this is very important because like shape number 3 for the rosebud usually works with flatter stuff. So you're not going to have a well, I'm not doing it quite correctly here because it shouldn't have any line weight variation, or all the lines should be the same weight, but I like it better like this. Should have the same weight, and all the lines should and the entire design should be like flat out. So this one's number 4 is super versatile. It doesn't really matter if you're going for a traditional or neo-traditional or whatever. You can. This one allows you to go with as thick of a line you want, because you can just adjust some weight, some size, some shadow or anything. But do keep in mind that when you're drawing the petals, the inside line should always be thinner than the outside. So for example, with the bud here, I'm going in, and for neo-traditional roses, you can have line weight variation, which I'm not happy with here. Oh, we can get it right. Yeah, we got it right. So I'm starting out with, this is where it folds and this is where it starts, and it's not folded. So I'm gonna go with this part of the line like thicker, and this one lighter, because it just makes sense like this. And for the inside line, the one I'm going to do here, I usually like to go with is not, I'm not doing it right, but go with a super thin line. Just suggest that it's on the outside, it's not that emphasized. Again, I'm gonna go with from thinner to thicker here, and super thin to super thin. Just give it some weight. Thin to thick, super thin to, well, not so super thin, but you get the point. Again, I'm gonna go, let's do this one too. I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna make it really fat here. And the same applies for the inside line, only the overall pressure will be lighter, so it's a lighter line. So see, this one works for any type of design. You can just take it and just cue it and whatever. You can do a elongated rose, you can do a chubby round rose, you can do a square rose, a whatever. Just adapt to it. And so instead of doing lines like this, arches, you can just go with, and you know. So you have squarish stuff here. You like this, and it's nice. You can have a square rose, you can have a triangle rose, whatever. Okay, so let's get to inking on this one. This is gonna be quite hard for me to do it digitally, because I have some software correction for this, and it could take quite some effort and some retries to get it right. So it's almost right, so whatever. And again, I'm gonna go with some bold stuff here for the outline, because I just like the line weight variation. Okay, like this. Fucked up on this one. Remember to connect the swirls. Otherwise, it will look incomplete, and it would just, it's, yeah, you know, the little things that count. Okay, so there you have it. 5 nice little rosebuds, all inked up. Let me just shut off this one. So here you have the ink, the buds. As for coloring, you can go with whatever you like. Just keep in mind that for some shapes like 1 to 3, 1 to 5, sorry, the inside here, this one, it looks better when it's completely blacked out, like this. Well, maybe careful, a lot more careful than that, but you get the point. Even if you're going with a color scheme and stuff, this one usually looks better like blacked out. And for 5, you can just black out this okay, this little part in the middle here, the last swirl, innermost swirl. Yeah. Others you can just color the way you want, any way you want. There are some like some rules, but not necessarily rules, but traditions in coloring, not as much in regards to color, but in the way you place the color. But it's another talk for another time. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. Thank you. Goodbye.